Welcome to the Horizon Audiofiles, a podcast of the Defense Horizon Journal. The Defense Horizon Journal is a professional and academic journal that features essays, reports, and analyses covering geopolitics and law, security and defense policy, peace and conflict studies, applied military science, as well as developments in weapons technology. For more information, go to www.tdhj.org.
Episode number 85. India's role in navigating multilateralism and minilateralism in the Global South. By Monica Gupta. Introduction. Amidst changing geopolitics, the world is at a juncture of unexpected events unfolding at any moment. Power politics are shaped by hegemony rather than by a rules-based international order. The established forums and global organizations are failing in their capacities to restrain misuse of power and are in urgent need of a structural overhaul. In such a scenario, there is an urgent need for new engagements, greater cooperation, and stronger solidarity worldwide. The Global South, representing 80 to 85% of the global population, appears to be one of those avenues with greater possibilities, growing aspirations, and agenda-setting capacity to shape the global order amid such uncertainties. This is because, over the years, the Global South has transitioned from being a passive and reluctant voice to an active and aspirational voice in global politics. More so, this is backed by increasing economic growth, demographic advantages, and desire for a post-Western world order. Within it, India increasingly seeks to position itself as a leading voice of the Global South. Opportunities. India's role amidst changing geopolitics becomes even more relevant, especially in the context of diversifying its relationship with countries in the Global South. Over the last decade, India has been consistently pushing for greater engagement with the Global South, be it through developmental initiatives such as Vaccine Maitri or through prioritizing the needs of the Global South during its G20 presidency in 2023. ITEC, Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation, is yet another example of India's capacity-building, fully funded technical assistance to countries in the Global South. India is also actively pursuing fintech diplomacy, as UPI, Unified Payments Interface, has now reached various countries of the Global South, including Namibia, Sri Lanka, and parts of Southeast Asia. What has remarkably changed over the last decade is the growing trust between India and many countries of the Global South, which is gradually strengthening amidst a disruptive world order. Plenty of opportunities lie ahead for both India and the Global South to bridge, build, and bond in their relationships. In such a scenario, minilateralism offers multifold opportunities for both India and countries in the Global South. Minilateralism refers to a diplomatic strategy where 3 to 9 countries, usually a smaller group, come together to form a coalition based on shared interests, specific issues, and faster and effective implementation of shared ideas. Minilateralism refers to cooperation among a small number of states, typically 3 to 9, designed to address specific issues more efficiently than large multilateral institutions. Multilateralism is a larger association of countries with slower implementation of ideas, thoughts, and actions. Moreover, multilateralism poses several challenges for India and other countries in the Global South, particularly regarding inequitable global governance, delayed decision-making, geopolitical competition, and rivalry among global powers, where the interests of countries from the Global South are sidelined, compromised, and undermined. Thus, the mere presence in multilateral forums does not create much of a difference. This does not mean that multilateralism is an ineffective diplomatic strategy, but amid changing geopolitics, minilateralism offers greater opportunities, especially for India and other countries in the Global South to come together and carve out a new pathway for greater engagement, effective results, and skillful diplomacy. Minilateralism is not a very new phenomenon and has been in practice in the region for quite some time, with examples such as BRICS, a group of major emerging economies of Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, plus new members added recently, IBSA Dialogue Forum, India Brazil South Africa, Horn of Africa Cooperation, Ethiopia Eritrea Somalia, and BBIN, Bangladesh Bhutan India Nepal, Mangrove Alliance for Climate, MAC. Having said that, changing geopolitics offers new avenues of minilateral engagements between India and countries of the Global South, where rise of the rest seems unavoidable. Over the years, India has championed itself as a trusted partner focusing on capacity building over debt-driven investment model, has a significant voice within the global North-led institutions and importantly has transitioned from aid recipient to development assistance provider for many countries in the global South and the world, which has provided increased visibility to India's image of being a bridge nation, as compared to others in the global South. India's approach also contrasts with the People's Republic of China's infrastructure-driven engagement through initiatives such as the Belt and Road Initiative. For minilateralism to thrive between India and countries of the global South, the need is to identify key sectors for mutual development, cooperation, and mutual benefits, such as technology, maritime security, climate, and finance. The road ahead should target strategic autonomy and reformed global governance as the goal of pushing greater cooperation among member states. Some of these new opportunities would mean strengthening ties with countries in the global South through the export of India's digital public infrastructure, such as Aadhaar or UPI, a process that has already begun. This also has the potential to challenge West-led digital monopolies in the region, thereby providing new avenues for connection between India and the global South. Another example would be of how India is consistently working towards training and strengthening the maritime forces of countries in the global South through minilateral groupings such as Maitri, India, Indonesia, and Seychelles, where recently in February 2026, India has announced a $175 million special economic package for Seychelles as part of its larger flagship initiative of SAGAR, Security and Growth for All in the region, and particularly Mahasagar, Mutual and Holistic Advancement, for security and growth across regions. This maritime engagement offers plentiful opportunities for India to collaborate further in the region and, at the same time, counter China's assertiveness in the Indian Ocean region. Adding to it, India has also been proactively involved in providing humanitarian and development assistance to countries in the global South which are affected by natural disasters or otherwise. For instance, through Operation Sadbhav, India provided disaster relief to 3 countries of Southeast Asia, Myanmar, Laos and Vietnam in September 2024 when these regions were badly impacted by Typhoon Yagi. Thus, India has been consistently supporting, advocating and voicing the concerns of countries from the global South and in doing that, counters the West-led global order by providing instances of South-South cooperation, acts as the first responder to help, support and assist global South countries in times of crisis, disasters or security issues in the region. Lastly, India also provides a better, people-centric, and sustainable alternative to China's growing presence in the region which is perceived as dominant and capital-intensive unlike India's partnership-based approach. Thus, this issue-based approach, combined with minilateral engagements, has the potential to strengthen South-South cooperation and facilitate the rise of the West in shaping global geopolitics. Challenges. Drawing from the discussed framework, it won't be wrong to say that tapping opportunities would call for careful navigation and investigation for India and fellow countries of the global South, as any form of collaboration and engagement involves inherent multiple challenges that need to be carefully catered to. For instance, first, minilateralism itself offers multifold challenges like that of elitist perceptions where small countries in the global South may feel sidelined due to the formation of small exclusive groups, leading to mistrust and lack of inclusivity. Second, the challenge may also arise related to resource constraints and limited diplomatic tools which can hinder effective implementation of planned initiatives. Third, and one of the significant challenge also pertains to the risk of possible fragmentation within the grouping as small issue-based groups often lack legitimacy and inclusivity of multilateral forums, thereby creating fragmentation when it comes to the united voice of the global South. Apart from these, many other issues, such as diverging interests, different economic priorities, and duplication and overlapping memberships, are structural constraints that minilateralism poses for both India and fellow countries of the global South. Thus, India's outreach to countries in the global South via minilateralism won't be an easy ride, and hence India needs to be more cautious while diversifying its engagement with fellow countries in the global South and to take the lead where partnerships are mutually respected. Consequently, the fellow global South countries interested in building up relations with India need to remain united amidst regional challenges and global geopolitical tensions. Lastly, when interests are mutual, considering the broader development-oriented agenda, countries do find ways to overcome challenges. India, while navigating multilateralism and minilateralism in the global South, has to be more mindful that the engagements are mutual and meaningful. However, differing strategic interests among Global South countries may limit the extent to which India can assume a universally accepted leadership role. Way forward. Considering the changing global geopolitical landscape, it is important for India and the fellow countries of the Global South to come together as rule-makers rather than rule-takers, showing solidarity and fostering unity amid rising uncertainties. Both multilateralism and minilateralism offer unique opportunities alongside contesting issues and challenges. For instance, reformed multilateralism in global institutions would require skillful participation and South-South cooperation, where India, along with its fellow Global South partners, strongly advocates new orientation for reformed multilateralism, for democratic decision-making and balanced representation of the voices of the Global South. Similarly, minilateralism, which offers potential fronts and opportunities for engagement, should also be carefully carved and effectively executed. India and fellow countries of the Global South need to prioritize issues of mutual interest and cooperation through minilateral engagements, while keeping in mind the subsequent challenges. Digital and tech diplomacy, climate diplomacy, maritime security, knowledge sharing, and capacity building are some of the major fronts to intensify cooperation, though through cautious use of minilateralism. Thus, clear intentions, an optimistic vision, and setting agendas and larger development goals for the Global South as a whole would be the only way forward. In international politics, it is believed that when interests are mutual, goals are development-oriented, and vision is inclusive, challenges can be easily overcome. India needs to live up to the trust and aspirations of the fellow Global South countries in becoming their voice for the larger development of the region, and similarly, Global South as a whole should present an exemplary example of solidarity that has the potential to transcend geopolitics from West-led global order to rest-led global order. Ultimately, India's ability to balance multilateral engagement with flexible minilateral partnerships may determine whether it can translate diplomatic ambition into sustained leadership within the Global South. Author, Dr. Monica Gupta is an assistant professor, Department of Political Science, Deshbandhu College, University of Delhi, India. She is a 2019 Commonwealth Scholar to SOAS, University of London, and DAAD recipient to the University of Würzburg, Germany in 2016. She has presented her research interests on global platforms, including the University of Oxford and Dublin City University, Ireland. Her areas of specialization are foreign policy, gender, diaspora studies, and the Sustainable Development Goals. Her regional expertise is South Asia and Europe, with special focus on India. She has published articles, book chapters, and newspaper commentaries in reputed journals and print media. The views contained in this article are the author's alone and do not represent the views of my workplace, i.e. Deshbandhu College, University of Delhi.
This was the Horizon Audiofiles, a podcast of the Defense Horizon Journal. For more information, go to www.tdhj.org. Thank you for listening.